This is my review of Led Zeppelin's untitled fourth album. It was released in 1971 and produced by Jimmy Page. So this was the first Led Zeppelin album that I bought. It was the second one I listened to because, like I said, my review for Led Zeppelin 2, that was the first album I ever heard over at a friend's house. And then I bought it later, but after this album. This album, I can still remember getting it, and honestly I think the reason I got it was because I knew it had Stairway on it. And it wasn't that I liked Stairway, it's just I was curious to hear it because I heard so much about it, but I'd never heard the song before, so I got this album to listen to that. And I don't really remember buying this album. I remember like going over to my friend's house and listening to it for the first time right after buying it. And that would have been probably, I don't know, probably 2007 or 2006. Probably 2007. But yeah, anyway, this album, I really did like this album pretty early on, but it didn't really make me a huge Zeppelin fan right away, even though I do think it's one of their strongest albums. At this point, I've listened to it so much that I really don't need to hear like any of the songs on it ever again, which I don't really feel the same about many of their other albums, or any of their other albums, I don't think, but this one, just since it was the first album I got by them, and since there were so many just like classic songs on it, I really just kind of wore it into the ground as far as listening to it. So the album starts with Black Dog. Great song, but it's just one of those songs on here that I really never need to hear again because I've listened to it so many times. But yeah, just a classic Zeppelin song, great way to open the album. Second song, Rock and Roll. This one I've listened to way too much as well, but I'm not really tired of this one yet. I hear a lot of people say they're tired of this one. For me, it's a little bit old, and I don't listen to it as often as I did, but it's one that, like, if it comes on, I'm not like, I don't want to hear this. I always love the drum intro, just a great song. Third track, Battle of the Evermore. This one, when I first got the album, it took me a while to get into this one, but I'm actually kind of surprised at how quick I did actually manage to get into it. I think some of that probably had to do with the line about the ring raids, because I love Lord of the Rings, so I just wanted to listen to a song and talk about Lord of the Rings. But it's a really cool song. Got some mandolin playing by Jimmy, which is kind of different, and Sandy Denny is singing with Robert Plant on here, and I think they're kind of back and forth vocally is really cool. Just a really cool song. Fourth track, Stairway to Heaven. I think everybody kind of knows this song, which, like I said, I surprisingly hadn't heard it when I got this album because I didn't really listen to rock radio. I still don't. But I got this album to hear the song, and at first I was kind of surprised at like how, I don't know, slow it is and stuff at the beginning and all of that. I wasn't expecting that from such a famous like rock song. I thought it would be different. But it was a song that I got into a lot right away, and I understand like why it's as famous as it is, and I still really like the song. I don't really listen to it that much anymore because I've just heard it way too many times, and that's all from just my own doing, now from the radio or having it overplayed somewhere else. But it really is a great song. I love the guitar solo, and it's probably one of my favorite guitar solos. But yeah, just a really great song, but I've heard it just way too many times, which I think a lot of people are kind of in that same position. Fifth song, Misty Mountain Hop. Another really great one. It's got kind of this, I don't know, weird like riff to it, which Zeppelin kind of does stuff like that. And I've heard some people say they find it annoying. I think it's pretty cool. Another song kind of references Lord of the Rings a little bit, so I got into this one pretty quick. The sixth song, Four Sticks. This one is kind of easily my least favorite on the album, and I don't think it's bad or anything. It's not like I have the urge to skip it or anything when it's on. It's just, to me, it's not super memorable. It just doesn't really stick in my head. To me, it's probably always going to be the weakest track on the album. Seventh song, Going to California. I think it's a really cool acoustic song. This one's got some mandolin from John Paul Jones. it was another early favorite of mine from this album, but it's another one that I just listened to way too much, and so I don't really listen to it that much anymore, which I just don't really listen to this album in general that much anymore. And then the eighth and final track, When the Levee Breaks, is probably my favorite song on the album. I don't know, it's really hard to pick a favorite on this one, honestly. But just the band just like really kicks ass on this song, and Bonham's drums sound great. And, just a really great, epic kind of way to close the album. So, Led Zeppelin 4, a really great album. I have no regrets with this being like the first Zeppelin album I ever bought. I think it was a pretty good place to start, really. But I've listened to it far too much, and just like I don't really need to listen to it anymore because I can basically hear it in my head if I want to. So, yeah, just great album.